We have details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 20 minutes. Remember, this bulletin is live on DSTV channel 279. We're also streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana, where you can join us with your thoughts and comments as well. We begin with health. The Ghana Health Service says it has heightened its surveillance on Mpox. Well, this follows a declaration by the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention of a public health emergency of continental security, an outbreak of Mpox that has so far spread to 10 African countries.
In 2022, Ghana recorded 120 Mpox cases with 4 deaths. In 2023, the country recorded 8 cases, but yet to record any case this year, though classified among 19 countries at risk of the disease. The WHO will convene experts amidst the rising Mpox cases in Africa on Wednesday, August 14. Burundi and Rwanda are the latest to record cases, while Kenya and the Central African Republic are also having an increase in cases. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported a significant rise in Mpox cases, with the virus now detected in 10 African countries this year, including the DRC, which accounts for over 96% of all reported cases and deaths. The agency noted a 160% increase in cases compared to the same period last year, alongside a 19% rise in fatalities.
So now I think we have about almost 13,000 cases. So Africa CDC actually called an emergency meeting to discuss the situation among member states about how to avoid a very big outbreak. So there's even an intention to declare it as a public health emergency of international concern in the region. Because, monkeypox, or what we call now Mpox, can cross borders. So that meeting has been held, and the idea is for member states to reactivate their action plans about how to support. And Africa CDC in particular has earmarked about over $10 billion to support member states.
The independent experts selected from countries are to assess whether the escalating spread of the Mpox virus in Africa warrants a global health emergency declaration. The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service says clinicians are already being retrained for any early detection of a case.
So we are kind of updating our response plan, and we've had informal discussions. We are going to have our EOC meetings to firm up the plan. We submitted a draft plan to Africa CDC, but we are going to try to kind of finalize the national plan to them. We cannot say wholly prevent it, but we want to make sure that we detect it early and manage them.
Nearly 70% of cases and 85% of deaths in the DRC have occurred in children under the age of 15.
Meanwhile, a clinical epidemiologist, Professor Fred Binka, is urging the general public to look out for symptoms of the Mpox and report for early treatment.
Congo indicates that this particular variant, which is the clade 1B, is very, very infectious, and so has been able to create that huge load of over 15,000 cases within such a short time and about 500 deaths. So that means we should be all out looking out for it. Every country, like Ghana, all our 16 regions must be ready and looking out for both positive and negative results. In this case, negative results are also important, and people must report. And once we suspect that these cases, there are cases, then we must make sure that we are supplying all these regions with reagents so that they will be able to do the initial diagnosis and then send this thing up to our reference laboratories for confirmation to be done.
The recent outbreak of the dengue fever has so far hit 6 regions in the country with over 100 cases recorded. Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu tells TV3 all cases are mild and are being managed at home, while the service remains on high alert.
Ghana started recording dengue fever cases about 6 weeks ago. The viral infection, which is transmitted by the Aedes mosquitoes, is gradually spreading sporadically across the country. Out of the over 100 cases recorded so far, the eastern region, which was the first to report some cases, remains the region with the highest case count, followed by the central region. Duty has 2 cases. The Ashanti region, 4. The Bono region also has 4. And the region has 5 cases.
What we're hoping for is that people report early, that we do not have fatalities. To us, that has been quite good. We do not have fatalities. The fact that we are getting cases being reported in some selected areas, to us is a plus. It tells us that our cellular system is working. It tells us that our message has gone on to the Ghanaian. It tells us that the health system is looking beyond malaria. You don't have any person who has been admitted. So we're still mad. And that, to us, that's what is good. The idea is detect the case early, it doesn't become complicated.
The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu says it's early days yet for the dengue fever vaccines, but discussions are ongoing.
When we want to look at the main still for management, is preventing mosquito bite. It's not about vaccination. There's, I would say vaccines being discussed, but for us, prevent the mosquito bite to minimize the burden of dengue.
The service is enhancing its awareness creation at the district and regional levels.
We do some political related stories now. The founder and leader of the Movement for Change, Kyerematen, has advocated a shift in Ghana's governance structure. He urged that the power of appointment currently vested in the president needs to be limited to ensure a more balanced and transparent system of governance. Kyerematen said this when he engaged with media practitioners to discuss his great transformational plan.
The constitutional reform will make sure that we remove that limitation of the president that requires him to appoint half of his cabinet from parliament. Of what purpose is it? That even that particular provision in our laws even reduces the substance of our checks and balances as a country. Because if half of your ministers are in parliament, then can parliament be truly an oversight body? No. It can't. You don't even have the time to do 2 things. Serving as a member of the executive and also doing your work as all these things, we are aware of them. Why is it that we have allowed it to persist? But obviously, you have to come into power before you have the capacity to undertake the reforms. So what is going to happen? All that this GTP is saying is that, yes, we will abide by the constitution until it is changed. But it only means that the ministers will be appointed, half of the ministers will be appointed from those in parliament. From those who are independent candidates. He made a very important inquiry as to whether we are interested in promoting some independent candidates. Yes, we are.
We head to the Volta region where flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is urging electorates to vote out the ruling New Patriotic Party, regardless of any apologies government renders for the hardship caused to Ghanaians. Addressing voters in the Volta region, former President John Dramani Mahama says Ghanaians have been fooled twice by the ruling NPP and must not allow the party to rule for a 3rd term.
It's full of lies and promises. So on 18th, they will launch the manifesto of lies and tell you, we're coming to do this for you, we're coming to do this for you. But they say, first fool, second fool, who is the 3rd fool? The 3rd fool is the real fool. 1 child, 1 egg. 1 child, 1 chocolate. Kata alakpai. This finance minister they brought just yesterday He is not part of those who have put us where we are. They got him, okay, you go and apologize. It's not his apology we want. He just came. Those who must apologize are, number one, Jack Toronto. Number two, the one who must apologize is the head of the solid economic management team, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Even whatever apology they give, Ghanaians must send them back into opposition. We either change or do more of the same. We are dissatisfied with more of the same. So definitely something must give. Change must happen.
We are definitely not missing a beat coming December 7. Away from your election command center, we head to the Supreme Court. The vetting of one of two Supreme Court justice nominees so far, Rosetta Odiokuma Benasco Essa, was riddled with near chaos after the minority MPs objected to the exercise directed by the Speaker of Parliament. Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama raised constitutional anomalies in President Akufo-Addo's appointment of additional justices to the Apex Court, bringing a halt to the vetting process.
Justice Sophia Benasco Essa and Professor Richard Frimpong Opong were scheduled to face the Appointments Committee of Parliament on Tuesday, August 13, for the House to assess their eligibility for the Supreme Court. But even before the exercise would start with Justice Benasco Essa, MP for Boko Central, Mahama had concerns regarding what he said had become a worrying trend.
Who says the person to decide that a person is the president? Who? To show me which provision. That he can, anytime he feels like, and I'm not talking about this president, previous presidents have done that before. So it's not about this particular president. Any president, anybody should show me anywhere in this constitution where power is given to the president to increase the number above 9 plus 1. No such power is given to the president. A discretionary power, the exercise of it is governed by Article 296. So the president ought to have brought a constitutional instrument to Parliament.
Chairperson of the committee, Patricia PJ, however, chided the legislator, indicating that it was not the right forum for that.
Honourable, I think your point is well made, but we have a platform where we can consider that. The reference was made to us to proceed and vet the nominee. That was the directive, yes. So what do we have to proceed? And when we have the platform at the chamber during the debate, I think these issues can be well placed, and we take a decision on that. So we're going to proceed.
This did not sit well with Minority Leader Dr. Keswato Forson, who insisted that members of the committee ought to weigh in on the matter, which was of pressing concerns.
With all due respect, before you make that determination, I think it's only fair that you allow members to have a bite on this matter, because he's raised a very important matter that I believe not only him would like to comment.
Even a 10-minute break by the committee could not resolve disagreements by the House.
Even the things she's seeing here don't appear to be wholesome. It's a serious matter. Imagine the Supreme Court judges reading judgments that have been borrowed from somewhere else.
Until you put the motion to a vote, there will be no vetting. And if you want to disrespect the rules of Parliament, and members of this committee, let's do it. But we are not going to throw the rules of Parliament away. There's a motion on the floor. No. And we are going to vote on that motion. No rule.
Who doesn't have a right? You bring the goodness into order.
After almost an hour of disruption, the Appointments Committee undertook a vote, which then paved the way for the vetting of Justice Sophia Benasco Essa to proceed.
You're still watching the morning news here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asiedu. The Data Protection Commission has implored political parties to be conscious of individual rights and the acquisition of data ahead of the December 7 polls to minimize potential harm and distress to electorates. The Executive Director, Patricia Poku, spoke to TV3 after the Commission appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament following the 2023 Auditor General's report.
A delayed response with application to the Ministry of Finance to pay some salaries increase to staff. Board members had agreed to an upgrade of their salaries, and it took time to get ratification from the Ministry of Finance. So that was the only infraction that brought us here.
The Commission is highly concerned about data collection by parties in the run-up to the December polls.
Parties are taking advantage of this opportunity, but the law says that to use information, you must be able to have a legitimate ground and a purpose for collecting and using details. And we will only ask that they keep the public informed. You and I have a right to be informed about what purpose the data was collected for, how it was collected, and also on what legitimate grounds that they came to have the data.
Some educational institutions, including University of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, University of Professional Studies Accra, GIMPA, University of Cape Coast and Akente Apia Menka University of Skills Training appeared before the committee. Management of the University of Ghana was directed to recover a total of $383,000 from its debtors by the end of 2024, following the Auditor General's report indicating some institutions like Telecel, Eltel Tigo, MultiChoice, Crystal TV that owed the university for more than 9 years. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is after the Electricity Company of Ghana, SNET and 3 other companies for rent over 5 years, totaling in excess of 1.2 million cedis. The committee also cautioned management over procurement of some drugs and medical consumables from an unlicensed supplier. Entities, including Forestry Commission and Minerals Commission, appeared before the committee.
We are going to engage voters time.
We shift our focus to Labour, where pre-tertiary teacher unions are upset with government over the delay in payment of their second-tier pension funds totaling some 600 million cedis. The unions, NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, Ghana, say any further delay may result in agitations by the over 400,000 teachers nationwide. Leadership of the union spoke exclusively with our Labour correspondent, Daniel Opoku, in Accra.
According to the Pensions Act 766, government is expected to deduct 5% from salaries of workers for their second-tier pension scheme. However, for the past 12 months, the second-tier pensions of all public sector workers have been arrears for 12 months. In the case of the pre-tertiary teacher unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers (NAT), the National Association of Graduate Teachers (NAGRAT), and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers (CCT) Ghana, their education sector pension scheme have also been arrears for 12 months. Leadership of the unions, who spoke exclusively to our Labour correspondent Daniel Opoku, indicated that the delay has created agitations among over 400,000 teachers nationwide. President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers (NAGRAT), Eric Nje Kabonu, called on government to immediately transfer the arrears without delay.
The arrears that they've even accumulated, that they paid in the past, they paid it without even the arrears. And MPRA is sitting there without even biting, because MPRA is at the necessary stage of a new SNIT. They see themselves as government appointees, not people acting in the interest of the Ghanaian worker. Because they are the regulators. They are supposed to ensure that anyone, be you private or public, do not violate the rules. We are serving notice that government should do well to clear the arrears. Other than that, we cannot control our members.
The president of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers (CCT) Ghana, Kinali Awudu, criticized government for flouting the Pensions Act 766.
Let's assume that my gross salary is 1,000 cedis. Right. Government take 5% of that 1,000 cedis, which amount to 50 cedis. Yeah. And government is supposed to go and pay that money to my pension scheme. So this is not money that is supposed to be paid by government. It is our salary that is supposed to come to us that has been reduced by 5%. So why shouldn't government pay? It is so disgusting, so annoying, and it appears as if nobody cares. Look, there are certain sectors in this economy that do not pay pensions. They don't pay their pension. But on the day they go on retirement, on that same day, government is able to find money from consolidated accounts and then pay them.
The General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, described the situation as a clear act of provocation.
Why should you keep somebody's pension money for 12 months? Why? Look, President and his people, they all retire on what you call the Article 71. When they go, a committee will be constituted and they will work out what is due them. For some of them, they will take their bungalows. For some of them, they will take their vehicles away. But the ordinary worker, what is he taking away? What is the ordinary worker taking away? So if the ordinary worker is not taking anything away, and what is entitled to him to, you deny him of it, it is an act of provocation. The masses, they have their own time. They have their own time of exploding.
It's time for us to do some international news. Days after the 10-day protest in Nigeria, citizens are hopeful the government will heed to calls for reforms. Correspondent Marvelous Obemanu has the rest of the story from Nigeria.
On August 1st, 2024, protesters took to the streets in major cities across Nigeria. The initial turnout was significant, with citizens converging on different points, and by the middle of the street action, the protest had gained momentum. However, the government's response to the protest did not go down well with the protesters, as security forces began dispersing crowds, leading to several arrests and reports of excessive force. According to Nigeria's Minister of Trade and Investment, the nation lost over 500 billion naira during the protest, while goods worth 50 billion naira were destroyed. 21 persons lost their lives during the protest.
It affects my business because it don't allow us to come out to do our daily job. And it makes things very expensive in the market. So what we are buying before at 400 flew 700 up.
During the protest, there was a high increase of commodity in the markets, of course, because it affected transportation and all that.
The protest officially ended on August 10th, but the underlying issues seems unaddressed.
We participated fully in the protest, and so regrettably, some of the issues that took us to the streets of Abuja, the streets of Lagos, the street of Port Harcourt, all over the Federation, Kanu, Kaduna, some of the issues have not been addressed.
Some Nigerian citizens have expressed worry that despite the hardship being witnessed in the country, the government is spending taxpayers' money on frivolities, calling for a reduction in the cost of governance.
Once you are in the government circle, they don't think that anything is going wrong. Of course, they can approve 70 billion naira for the National Assembly member for just their car, and then to renovate the office of the vice president with 21 billion naira, just a renovation. I mean, that tells you the kind of wastage we're having. It's not all about the protest, it's all about doing the needful. Cut down the cost of governance, for crying out loud.
Although Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has addressed the nation, promising the youth that he will do all he can to ensure that he provides solution to some of the challenges they have raised, many citizens will be hoping that the government this time will be sincere to its words so that they can heave a sigh of relief. The 10-day protest is a wake-up call for those in power to deliver governance to the people at the grassroots and be accountable to citizens. In Abuja, Marvelous Obomanu.
And that's it for the news this morning with me, Godwin Asiedu. For more news, kindly log on to 3news.com. See you soon.